Hi everybody, Sunday lunchtime. Exactly 7 days since the spawning took place. If you saw the previous video, which was posted on Wednesday, you'll know that the fry started to hatch on Tuesday and continued through to Wednesday. To be honest, I'm really not 100% sure where we're at the moment. I took the spawning ropes out of the net this morning, and if I come out at night when they're feeding and by torchlight, I think I can see a lot of fry. During the daytime, it's very, very difficult to see the fry in the net. They are very, very small. One of the things with using females for the first time is often that the eggs are small, and subsequently the fry that hatches small. Obviously, the flip side of that is that you start them spawning at an early age, and the next time they spawn, hopefully, the eggs are that much larger and the subsequent fry larger. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to try and bowl a few of the fry up so we can take a closer look at them and see what they look like.
Okay, so I've just made a small scoop down in one corner of the net, and these are some of the fry that have come up. We can see they've been eating, we can see the food inside the transparent bodies. So that's a good sign for these ones at least. Unfortunately, as we'll see on the video, there are some who perhaps are not faring so well. This little chap here, for example, and the chap there on its side. So not sure what's causing them to now start struggling, but not really much we can do about it. There's a couple in this shot as well. If there's a few thousand more, like the ones we can see clearly swimming around and feeding, then as long as they last the distance, then hopefully we'll have something interesting. But we'll reassess the situation later in the week, and then decide what's happening regarding the spawning of the goshki and where that will take place, whether it takes place inside or outside. But that's a decision to be taken later in the week.
So for these, it's really just going to be a case of continuing to feed them on a constant basis through the course of the next week or so. It's quite often in the past I've known fry that you look in a pond and they seem to all disappear and then suddenly they come back. So these are terribly small, they're all white, so you don't get the benefit of, like last year when we did Beniki Kukuru, or if you do Showa and you get black fry, they're much more easy to see than the white fry are. So we'll just carry on. That's basically where we're at with this. But my thoughts are now very much turning towards the next spawning, which is goshki, and I'm hoping that we can maybe do that next week. I'm just going to show you outside bits of some changes that have gone outside. Outside, the main change since the last spawn video, the addition of these twin wall polycarbonate roofing or cover panels. Main reason for those, obviously, to keep some benefit from the warmth that's generated from the sun over the course of the summer, and stop any heat loss at night as well. So at the moment, males are in this tank here, or males and the babies from last year. You may wonder why there's so many bubbles on the surface. There's salt in the water at the moment. Ponds were salted after the spawning parents came out last weekend. But these systems are performing really nicely, really happy with them. The Easy Pod's delivering some fantastic water in terms of parameters, so really, really happy with that. In here, it's actually really nice just to walk through. We walk past these tanks when we go to the garage where there's a refrigerator and various things. So they got a lot of footfall past them, and they're crazy tame. It's lovely to see them up so close and personal whenever we pass by the tank. You can see they're completely at ease with me stood here just 18 inches away from them. And this, of course, the goshki, which hopefully will be the parent fish later in the week. So over the course of the next few days, I need to decide how we're going to move the fish around here. One of these tanks will likely be used for the spawning, which means the males have got to come out and go somewhere else. Still kind of frustrating not to have the space that we'd hoped to have available with the plans that we had earlier in the year. But we'll sort something out, that's no problem. You may recall last year that I had a bit of a battle with ammonia in this tank behind me. And at that time I got really frustrated with test kits, I got frustrated with water purifiers, carbon water purifiers. And last year, if I remember back rightly, we had a whole load of water mains work going on the main road that runs out just a little way behind me. And I can only assume that last year what they were doing, we had various, we had times where the water was turned off, etc. Just to coincide exactly when we had the fry in the net here. I can only assume that what they were doing at the time was adding loads of chloramine to the water because of that open water source that they had out there. This year the water's absolutely fantastic, touch wood, and I've been doing a lot more experimentation and testing. I showed in an earlier video the Sid Mitchell Manky Sankey chlorine test with the DPD-4 tablets. Just a quick correction on what I did, and didn't actually follow Sid's instructions 100% correct in that video, was that when I showed the video sample, I was videoing through the side of the test tube. Sid's very much insistent that if you follow it correctly, you have to look down through the sample because that magnifies the colour change if you're looking down through the extra depth of the clear water above the tablet. But anyway, I've been doing a lot more testing with those DPD-4 tablets, and the water purifier that I used last year and rejected as not working because the source water, or the water that was coming out of it, still had ammonia in it. This year, absolutely perfect. So this year I'm very much back onto carbon water purifiers, something I first bought. One of the first things I ever bought, or the first one I ever bought, was about 35 years ago, 30 years ago or so, when we were at the pond outside here. We had some problems, and it was suggested that there was heavy metals in the water, and we'd buy one of the big carbon purifiers, the big tall, sort of 30-inch tall ones. So we had that many years ago. And then, having rejected them last year with the frustration of the ammonia, I've just been, ever since, any water changes that we've done through the course of the last 12 months really, have been done with incredibly slow trickles. And maybe we're playing Russian roulette, I don't know. But I'm now very much back onto using a water purifier, and I've got a constant trickle now running through this tank. Unfortunately, I haven't got enough purifiers at the moment to run every system on one. So we're currently running through here, this is running through about half a litre a minute fresh tap water, and I can't get any reaction from the DPD-4 test when I'm running that through, that sample through. So I'm happy that we've got a nice constant flow of fresh water through this tank now, which can only be a good thing. I mean, the water parameters also this year, I think I mentioned in an earlier video how the tank seems much fresher this year. But indeed, when I took the brushes out this morning, the spawning brushes rather, when I took those out this morning, still the tank was incredibly clean. So not sure what the difference is, whether it was just the eggs were fresher this year and the whole spawning process was better. Well, we saw very little fungus on the eggs as well after they were treated with malachite green. So there's a general cleanliness to feel around the tank, so hopefully that's going to give the babies in here a bit more of a chance, a bit of a hope, if we can keep that water really nice. And I posted on Facebook yesterday that I got an ammonia reading on the little HANA tests, the pocket testimeter of 0.01 milligrams per litre. Thankfully by the afternoon that had gone back down to 0.000. So just a side there, I've actually got a HANA pocket tester as well coming for the chlorine, the total chlorine. So I'll do a little bit more about the water purifiers once that test arrives from HANA later next week. So I just wanted to touch on that, the importance of, or the perhaps benefit of the purifier, because also if I run very slow trickle through, just straight from the tap at the sort of half litre a minute, I also can't get a reading either. So but I'm happy it's for the price of it, the cost of buying a purifier, the pretty insignificant cost in the whole scheme of things. So it's probably better to have it as a safety net rather than not having one at all. So that's really it for this video. Not a lot to show you, unfortunately, more of me talking than anything else. But I'll update as the potential spawning next week progresses.